All right, good afternoon. Neil here with videos for Monday, April 28th. Normally would be David. He's traveling, and so we're going to fill in here tonight and try to make some sense of what we've got going on here. It's a chart of the S&P futures on screen, just to have a look at broad market. Not that we have to trade, this particular product exclusively or anything, but it's a good look at broad market. And so just from last week, if you see here, I've got fibs drawn from last week, 51.27 low by 55, like 60 high up here last week. Amazing. And so with that, I believe that that's a relatively influential type of, I call it a benchmark or a reference candle. And when I do that, I mandate that the half back on such a candle, it could be a 5-minute candle for that matter, but this happens to be, what time period we're looking at right now. So I look at any time I'm looking at something as benchmark reference, I want the half back to hold. Well, that's a long ways back because we had 500-point range or something last week. But to put that in perspective, look at the fact that today's low did not even get back to a 236 retrace. So I'm going to say it this way. All right, this definitely is still in force in terms of bullish, and it is, and it'll be a long time. It'll be way down there before we figure out that that's wrong. But there are a couple of points here of reference, and the first is that 236. Be 5460 and then the 382. Either one of those realistically really have a chance. And I think especially the 382 because the weekly pivot is also back there. The weekly pivot's at like 5410 or something. And that's because it was such a big range last week. High, low, close, add divided by 3, you're going to get a blend, right? And that puts the weekly pivot back here at like 5410, I think. Well, that aligning with the 382 and keeping it north of the half-back mandate on my reference candle observation, then I want to give this thing a chance to continue to move to the upside. Targets, the next couple of targets that I've got on the upside, I thought we were going to maybe trade today, but I've got 55.90 and 56.18. Now I look for those like tomorrow. After that, we will go 56.55 and 57.02. That's what I'm seeing after that. Those are all in the futures market. So 55.90 is a fib level. 56.18 is an end of quarter print. The 56.55 is a fib level there, but it also puts it on the mid-century. And then the 57.02 is another one of those end of quarter settle prints. And so I've got a plan that's going to take some days to work out because I have to give this thing, given the extreme nature of the range of last week, that was, the range was just tremendous. Well, then that means the support is actually a bit further back because I have to allow for two things. One, as much as a 382 retrace and still be, happy with it. And two, the fact that the weekly pivot's back there. So I have to give a little room, but I like it. I'm trying to see Apple up into like 228, Nvidia 128, Netflix higher. I just got a long list of things that I like, but it's just going through the motions and putting up with the calm days like today, and putting up with the almost feels like sort of a pause. I mean, today it started out, S&Ps were in the middle at like 55.60 and they broke for 5,500 and they're back to 55.60 again, right? So, and that turns out looking like a doji on the chart, of course. Here, let's get a slightly different view, perspective look here too. On the dip, you can see what it did was reach down there and found that right there, a target, T3 target. It's an old VPOC from back some days, right? And it looks like that right there, right? So it comes, today's price action pulls back and bottoms out and then follow that line to the left. That's VPOC on last Thursday, okay, and bounces right off of that, and then goes up into, and today's price acceptance or balance is up here at 55.53 or 55.55 or something like that, right? So what do you notice about this is we're graduating from lower left to upper right. I mean, it was 54.13, then it was 54.70, then it was 54.95, then it was 55.50, and today it's 55.55, right? So it's graduating lower left, upper right, meaning prices, the higher prices are being established as fair, balanced, and accepted. And that's the kind of the week. But look at where weekly pivot is. Weekly pivot's way back there. I don't know, maybe this is one of those weeks where we don't trade weekly pivot. It's rare, but it does happen here and there. But it's interesting that weekly pivot 382 fib are almost one and the same. That's pretty interesting too. So I hope it helps and you find good trading. I'll look forward to being with you again next update. I'm going to go do the premiums now. We're going to look at individual names and try to go through some setups. So until I'm with you again, take care.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me